Yo, what's going on, guys? Reversal here, and today I'm gonna be doing an updated Dino deck profile for post Age of Overlord. It's been a little bit of time since the set's dropped now, so you can kind of see how the format's shaped up and uh, how we should be playing Dinos most likely for the time being. Um, the rarity collections also dropped since then, which is nice for all the budget players since Prosperity's cheap now and like Baron and whatnot. Speaking of budget, Dino list, we drop one of those pretty soon too. A question I wanted to ask for those interested in that: would you consider 2 ground Xenos, which is like 45 bucks? Would you consider those to still be valid for a budget list if the budget list was only around like 100 bucks, including those 2 cards? Uh, just wanted to know that before dropping it, because obviously there's a big difference between like a $50 list and a $100 list. So that's like the main thing for the budget list, I guess, now, since everything else is pretty cheap. But yeah, let me know. But yeah, without anything else, let's just get straight into it. This list is aiming to go first game 1 if you win the dice roll, but if you lose it, it's whatever. You can still go second pretty well. The list is at 42. We got our 1 Misk, as usual. Why is this card still at 1? Konami does not like us. Got a 3 Oviraptors, 2 Archosaurs, 3 babies, 2 Petite, 1 Rex. I feel like if you're playing the ground Xenos, you probably need to be on a second Petite now, just for consistency reasons and because you cycle through the babies a lot more. But when you go second, you can side one of these out. And we got the 1 Pank, 2 Conductors, 1 Meteorus, and the 1 Frostosaurus. Still playing all these. It's for the Lars access. So that's it for the engine monsters. For the spells, got triple Product Prosperity. Card's still crazy. As long as it's at 3, we're playing it at 3. 3 Fossil Digs, 3 Ground Xenos, 3 Lost World, 2 Pills. It's all standard stuff. It's really nothing changed here. Now for the non-engine, playing 2 Fenrirs. This card's crazy. Would play it at 3, but it's not as impactful going second sometimes as like a hand trap would be. And then you don't really want to clog on these either, so I feel like it's fine at 2. 3 Ash, just the best generic hand trap. 3 Nib and 3 Imperm. Imperm's nice, just like Ash, it's just generic. Hits Rescue Ace really nicely. Doesn't play into talents. Nib could be Droll as well, so you can just kind of pick and choose which one you want to play, or you could opt to play like Veilers. If you just want all low impact hand traps that cover the most things at once. But just went for Nib since it's the highest impact when it does work how it's intended to. But Droll's an option as well for sure. But yeah, we got 9 hand traps and the 2 Fenrirs to go with the Pank, so you have 12 going second cards. Plus Prosperity can fetch Fenrir, can fetch the Lost World, which can help you go second as well. As well as Misk obviously being good going second if it resolves. So now for the extra deck, start off with the Xyz. We got Dolka, Lagia, Lars, Dweller, Dugares, and the Typhon. All these are really nice. The Typhon, I feel like this card, similar to Little Knight, I feel like you just put it in pretty much every deck and it's gonna do well. This card's really nice. Certain game states, you can just slap it on something, bounce something back, turn off effects and whatnot. So I feel like if you have one, you should play it. These are self-explanatory. For the links, we got Link Karibo, Secure, Pentastag, the Little Knight, Unicorn, Access Code, and then for Synchro, we have Baron. This is for the Meteors stuff. Access Code and Unicorn are nice for helping you break boards sometimes. Little Knight, like I said, same thing as this. If you can play it, just play it. It's broken. So then you have 2 more slots. Here is where you have a few options. Based on what you have in the side deck, you could play the Infernal Flame Banshee and a Reaperdocus, which I'll get to when I get to the side. But if you opt to not play that in the side deck, you could just play the G-Golems or just any other utility cards. I feel like the G-Golems aren't really needed if you have Little Knight now, since you don't really need these to climb into Access Code. Like, if you use your battle phase to combo, you could just make Little Knight in main phase 2, and it kind of helps, but these can still be nice sometimes. They just don't come up as much anymore. But yeah, these 2, it's kind of format dependent. If you expect a lot of board breakers and you think your combo is going to go through, these cards are really nice to have for the combo that it does, since you can really just, it doesn't matter what board breakers they have, you're probably going to win the game. But this combo is more fragile to hand traps, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So it's pretty format dependent. Right now there is kind of a decent amount of hand traps going around, but then there's also some people playing like Dark Ruler, so I'll talk about it more on the side, but you just kind of have to kind of pick and choose. So that's it for the extra. For the side deck, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to kind of just go over a bunch of different options. But first, Droll. This is mandatory in my opinion. I feel like you have to play Droll somewhere. Just because I like the combo decks and whatnot going around. Then I like to side the 1 call by for when you're going first and going second against some matchups. Then the 1 Doggerin, just since it's technically searchable and you want it versus like Pearly. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't even bother playing it, but since Pearly's the deck, you probably want to play 1. If you have XYZ Encores, that's another good card to play. So if you need to make space for that, you could easily like cut the Doggerin. But I don't have that card since I don't feel like spending $50 on a playset, so don't have that. But it is the best card versus Pearly, and it's nice versus Dweller. So now you have like the optional stuff, sort of. What 2 Storm and Duster. I feel like these kind of Dacro hate is the best right now, mainly because the blowouts are nice versus like Rescue Ace and whatnot. I don't think Cosmic's doing enough right now. I don't like Evenly that much in this deck in general, so I think you go with those. You can cut down one of them based on how many thrusts you decide to play, if you decide to play it. Then we got Dark Rulers. There's a lot of combo decks going around right now, so I feel like this is a good card to include, especially in a deck that plays Prosperity. So if they let that resolve and you get to this, you can just shut off everything. Oh, there goes half the side. But yeah, Dark Ruler, solid card. Then we got the potential thrust package. Like to play 2 and then a few targets if you're gonna play it. You can go with Change of Heart or Talents. This is mainly for like Unchained, depending on how they play. They usually try to put the Shavara in hand so they can pop your target if you like go for Change of Heart. So Talent is usually a little better in general, but this deck can sometimes have a hard time baiting stuff out since the engine isn't as like good at playing through stuff occasionally compared to other decks. So you'd probably just go with one of these and then Herald of the Abyss if you want another card for Pearly. So these are all your like thrust cards. So you can like slim this down depending on what you opt to play. So, but you could take out like a storm and then one of these, and then just play like a little 6-card package. But yeah, that's the thrust stuff. So now we have like the more going first stuff. You have a few different options here. You can play the YUGIOH and the Nemesis flag. Like I mentioned in the extra deck, this is for the Infernal Flame Banshee combo. You make that, search this, summon this, it searches this, and then you make Riprodocus to change either this or a baby to whatever you want to lock your opponent out of. And then depending on what your hand was for the combo, it changes the end board. But for one combo, you would put this under the Riprodocus and it would attempt to destroy itself, but it protects itself. So, and then the other combo, you put the baby under the Riprodocus. So when this pops the baby, you can summon the recycled Misk back from deck, since this puts it back. So you have that for follow-up as well. So this is really nice. Like I said, the combo is more fragile to hand traps than the normal combos are. So depending on how many hand traps you expect, it might not be good enough. But when it does resolve, you do win the game pretty much through any board breakers. I was playing in the Cross Archetype Discord tournament that lasted a couple months. We ended up losing in the top cut, top 16 to Infernoble, unfortunately. But I was playing a blind second list siding this, and this only came up once in the entire tournaments, and I played in almost every round. It actually only came up in the top 16. So versus Infernoble, it actually destroyed my Baron on top of it. But it was still just such a good combo there. They had 3 board breakers. It was like Talents, a Kaiju, and something else. But like I just opted to keep the pill in hand to play around Talents and then lock them out of Warriors. So their 3 board breakers just did nothing. And this combo just won the game. Because you end up with this, either a Baron and a rank 4 and a bunch of link material, plus the pill. So you just have a bunch of stuff you could do. You don't even have to commit to everything. Then you just lock them out and play the board breakers. If you don't want to play this, you can either play Anti-Spell, since this deals with Dark Ruler, deals with a lot of different stuff. Usually you have Lars, which helps with like the talents and stuff like that. But versus the unrespondable stuff, you really want Anti-Spell. The only bad thing about this is Super Poly is a card right now that's seeing a decent amount of play, mainly because of like Rescue Ace and whatnot. So if you make like the Evil Zord board with like Larry and Dolka, you can have this and still get cooked by Super Poly. So that's another bonus to the YUGIOH combo. You don't really care about Super Poly, you could play around it easily. And the other alternative is Cross Out to kind of help ensure your combo goes through. Obviously you have to be playing all the hand traps to facilitate this. So if you're going to play this, I would fit Veiler somewhere in the main deck probably, just even if it's just that one instead of like a Nib or something. But Crossouts, I've tried it a few times. It's kind of hit or miss, since Dino can be inconsistent in general. So sometimes you draw this and you still like don't have like a combo to do, so it just sits there. But for the most part, it's like fine. You could play it, you could not play it, you could try it. I don't really have a strong opinion against this or for it, to be honest. It's just an option. I would play just one of these combinations, either or. But it's probably just, I'd probably just play this just because it's the most game winning of the 3. So yeah, that's it. So if I could kind of backpedal and do a side deck, it'd probably be these 2. It's 5, 6, 7, 10. Then you could just do like 12, 13, 14, and then like one of these two or something like that. It's probably just this since Pearly's harder. But yeah, that's like the gist of it. I guess that you have the other options, kind of pick and choose, but that's just like a rundown of how I think the deck should be played right now. Let me know what you think, and if you're still playing Dino, because Dino is the best worst deck. But yeah, that's about it. Budget list coming soon. Peace.